Well, hey guys. Hopefully you can hear and make sure just want to make sure everything's turned up right. In a few seconds. Things might get a little crazy in Minneapolis. Apparently, a woman in her 30s was shot. Wasn't the original target, but she got involved in it.
In postseason football, you need to find that extra gear. Playoff mode.
This is live in Minneapolis after the shooting. The lady was killed, so it should get quite crazy if it goes on past, patterns. They also don't mention, the lady tried to run them over with, ice agents over, which I do have a small clip of that on my YouTube as well. But none of this would have happened if the lady didn't try to run them over. Illegal immigration isn't about race or anything. It's about coming here illegally and breaking the law. The FBI's there. Things have a tendency to get very violent there. Now they're going to burn the flag, I think. Yep, they're burning the flag. sad. I don't know what burning America. I mean, they live in America. If you don't like it, leave. Burning a flag does nothing. Burning a flag is actually illegal. He doesn't have the right. That's not part of protest. This is going to get very violent tonight, I think. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe if you're just tuning in. With this happening, protests will be very widespread, so we might have a lot of protest coverage coming up. Good job. If you guys are just tuning in, make sure you please like and subscribe. Guys, make sure you like and share and subscribe. We bring you this coverage from live from my van. We're also on a journey through it, so we try to bring everybody coverage who can't, who doesn't see it, and we watch and talk about it for educational purposes only via the Fair Use Act. If you look on my YouTube, I have a short of it already posted up on there. But I have a short of the incident, why it started. The lady tried to run over ice. Well, I appreciate that very much. Things are gonna get crazy over this, though. This is the calm before the storm. Make sure everybody likes and subscribes if you haven't, please. Sorry, I accidentally hit the wrong button, guys. I apologize. We'll be covering this as long as it happens. We might have to take a break in between her getting out of work and whatnot. We'll try to bring you guys coverage from different people all day. Things are going to get crazy. You get an option of watching it here with a smaller chat, and well, we used to have huge chats until we got extra, but whatever. This will bring US-wide protests again, so we'll see what happens out of this. I think they're towing the vehicle now, probably what that tow truck's for. Like I said, if you guys want to see the original footage of why this started, it is in one of my shorts. Make sure you guys like and share that out as well. And this is a different view of it, I guess, now. This is from drone footage. Which means we don't have to listen to chants for a minute. I will take it. This is where everything happened. Apparently the lady's 32 years old. She tried to run over ICE agents, and they had to shoot. They shot because they're immature. You could see blatantly in the video she was trying to hit them. She wasn't the original target, but she got involved in it. And like I said, that video is on my shorts, guys. This is aerial footage right now. Meaning no chance. Because they get annoying. We did have a person already burn the American flag, which I'll clip that out as well once this live is done. But the people there kind of didn't like it, so which is good. I don't think Minneapolis wants another crazy scene. They just want to protest, which is fine. They're legally allowed to do that. But burning of stuff and chaos, they kind of look like they're trying to get that away from the scene. So hopefully it stays that way. But we've seen this happen before, guys. 100 times. As soon as other people coming from other areas and just to start destroying stuff. So hopefully it doesn't happen for Minneapolis. But we shall see. It is pretty snowy over there. Kind of nice to have a little break from the chants, though. I will not lie. Hopefully everybody's having a safe and wonderful Wednesday. Anybody just tuning in, this is aerial coverage over Minneapolis. A 32-year-old woman tried to run into ICE agents, and she got shot and killed. This is going to bring up mass protest, I'm very sure. Anybody who would like to see the footage, it is in one of my shorts of exactly what happened to start all this nonsense. As the day continues, I'm sure the crowds will only get bigger. And when they get bigger, that's when crazy stuff starts to happen. So let's hope for peace. People are still showing up. I mean, this is all pretty new. It's just starting to happen. To follow Minneapolis. Now, I haven't seen that. It could very well be part 2 of it, though. It's going to get crazy. I'm hoping it doesn't, but, we've seen this 1,000 times. We've seen, somebody get shot, and it gives people a reason to go out there and cause chaos, burn cars, do a bunch of crazy stuff, and just cause nonsense. And we, unfortunately, it's probably going to lead to that. I mean, we're going to see and hope not. Some of the crowd was, like I said, they already burnt one flag. They were, seeming to shun that a little bit. So I'm hoping that, but people are still going to show up there. They're going to be coming from all over. And when people come from all over, that just makes it a big mess, So, yeah, I'll definitely have to watch that. I appreciate that. I'll definitely have to take a look into that and watch that. Just any education on things that are going around anyways, it really help. But everybody knows, like we've seen this 1,000 times. And it's just going to cause, and it's not just going to be here in Minneapolis. This will give people reasons to protest everywhere. It seems like the left just, wants a reason to protest. And they wanted this. They're going to use, the left is going to use this so hard. And that, a ICE officer killed a lady. But they're not going to mention, the part where they try to run her. She tried to run them over. And, if you try to run a cop over, what do you think's going to happen? The same. There's the car. But I'm sure they're going to destroy the city very much. It's going to be very sad. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. As soon as we get, I get some free time, maybe tonight, later on, depending on how crazy things get, I'm going to try to keep coverage from different angles and different people throughout the night so everybody can see what's going on and we can chat about it. But it's going to be interesting for sure. This is, like I said, this just happened not too long ago. So, I mean, and there's already a big crowd out there, and it's only going to get worse. And I'm sure they're going to they'll march down to the ICE facility or somewhere else like that, and they'll protest over there. And that's when things are going to start getting real crazy. It doesn't get crazy until somebody loses their life, but they never mention why they lost their life. They just put it, and the cop did this or the ICE agent did that or whatnot. So, I mean, everybody's entitled to their view here. That's what we're here for. I'm definitely more of an independent. I am far, more Republican than I am Democrat. Definitely not. But regardless, everybody's entitled to their view. But the left is definitely going to use this as ammo. So over the next few weeks, expect to hear a lot about this, and not the reason why it happened. But there is video of what happened, thankfully. So hopefully that'll clear up a whole bunch of things. People can, if they, use their own minds or whatnot, it's easy to see why this happened. You can't just try to run over cops and then them not shoot at you. You did that. The same thing's going to happen with an ICE agent, or a military. It's like saying it's okay to, run over our military or do whatever. You wouldn't do that. You don't have to like what ICE is doing, but you don't have to try to hurt them either. And there's been so much rhetoric from the left, just, putting harm on them or whatnot, that it is what it is, I mean, it's brought upon itself by the left. This is live footage, once again, of what happened. They have the area pretty well blocked off because this is exactly where the car crashed in after she tried to run over the ICE agent. So that area is going to be blocked off well, but past the perimeters, there is quite a large crowd. Oh, for sure. Like, the Democrats are all about violence. And this is a very far left run, governor and all that. And they're not about, you should be about safety of your enforcement. We don't, as Americans, we should embrace immigration, but legal immigration. And this is what happens. You put so much, hate on ICE and all that, people are going to try to hurt them. And this is what happens. They're going to defend themselves and somebody will die. So this left Democratic, rhetoric or whatever is only going to hurt more people, whether it be ICE or whether it be, ICE having to do their job because these people are trying to hurt ICE. It is what it is. We're all grown-ass adults and we should know better. Yeah, the mayor there is just crazy, If you guys have, make sure you like and subscribe and share the video out so we can get more people watching. We're still fighting that strike, so my viewership is down quite a bit from what it used to be, but we're rebuilding the channel, and everything's going to be amazing. We're also not just going to be covering protests. We're in Albuquerque right now. We're leaving for Santa Fe on Friday, and we're going to be doing some coverage of things over there. We're going to be doing a lot of documentaries on Los Alamos, the home of the nuclear bomb. So that should be entertaining. But we'll also still always bring you what's going on in the news today with the protests or whatnot. It's been a long trip. We just got here a few days ago. Traveled 2,400 miles from Maine to Albuquerque for the girlfriend's training, and then we're going to be going to Santa Fe on Friday. That'd be nice. We are doing a fundraiser while we do these videos, so if anybody who wishes to donate, it will be going towards food and fuel so we can survive until we get paid. We've got about 3 weeks till we start making a steady paycheck. So it's going to be a little bit pain in the butt, but anything is appreciated, but not expected. So thank you guys anyways. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. That's absolutely free. Oh, for sure, the rhetoric caused this. And welcome, witness. It's always nice to see you on here, buddy. The crowd is getting a bit larger. As we know, people will be coming from other towns, so as the night progresses, it's only going to get worse. So we'll probably be covering this most of the night. We'll probably have to take a break when she gets off, and then I'm supposed to meet with a church today to see if we can get help with the night in a hotel, but hopefully that'll work. It's going to get very cold in the next few days, too, so. I think regardless left or right, everybody needs to, just cool down on the rhetoric and all the, crazy things we say, I mean, because, and unfortunately, I don't like to be one-sided on this, but a lot of it comes from the left. They promote violence, you know, and it's sad to see because they want everything's anti-Trump no matter what he does, that they'll use anything against him, who in their right mind is going to go against our federal agents or, our people who protect us? We have laws for a reason. These people are breaking the laws and things happen. But then you have all these, like mayors and governors who say they want them out of their town. They'll do anything, blah, 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 basically putting harm on their way, putting a target on the back of ICE or federal agents. And that's why stuff like this happens. It's really stupid. We have nobody to blame but ourselves for allowing our governors and mayors to say these things instead of standing up to them, saying that's not acceptable. Or getting them impeached or whatever, because we need a calmer atmosphere, left and right. The governor can say what he wants, but ICE will not leave. It's a federally run program. The federal is definitely higher than the state, so they can say what they want, but that's not going to happen. And all they're doing is making ICE go out in bigger squads and doing these things and being more, protective of themselves because, they could have a chance of dying for just doing their jobs. These people have done nothing but, their jobs. And same thing as if you try to run over a police officer, they're going to shoot you. It's life for life. Everybody has the right to defend themselves, and that's all this is a case of. Crowd's looking about the same. Everything's right now has been peaceful. Like I said, there was one burning of a flag, but it seemed that the people there were trying to shut that down and told them to leave. So as we see the flags upside down, so many anti-Americans living in America. On the plus side, it might help us that we are, it is cold out there, and hopefully that'll deter a lot of people from going out. But we know it's not going to deter everybody, as you see. And it's still very early. And for those of you who do not know what happened, if you take a look at my shorts, I have a video coverage of the incident that happened. 32-year-old lady was shot and killed for trying to run over ICE agents. She was not the original target, but she decided to take it upon herself to get involved in that and try to run over one of the ICE agents, which cost her life. The ICE agents, in my opinion, were working in full self-defense. Same thing as if you were to do that to a cop. You can easily kill somebody with a vehicle, so what she did was very dangerous. It could have hurt somebody else. Crowd really hasn't changed too much, but it's still quite early. Like I said, this all just happened, so we're going to pay it close attention today and see what happens. It could. I mean, it's very well could. You know, we're in a time we haven't seen before, and there's been fall and collapse of many civilizations throughout we go, and it's been brought upon our own selves, and I'm just praying that's where we're not at yet. Because things are heating up really bad. And they seem to be getting worse from day to day. This is live over the scene in Minneapolis. And if you guys are just tuning in, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this out. Seems they have removed the cars that were involved in the incident, as that will be evidence. The crowd actually looks like it's getting a little bit bigger. It's hard to tell because they're in separate areas. There's a lot of it blocked off, due to the investigation. The local police and ICE agents. And you can see a lot of people. So what's going to happen next? This be the start of. Because the left will use this as fuel. And they'll ask people to go out to the streets. And when that happens, we get mass chaos. Everybody should be asking for calm and understanding and respect to the person who lost their life, as well as the ICE agents who deserve respect for defending their lives. And not to, protest protesting is fine. You don't like it, yes, by all means, but don't get violent. When you get violence in it, or you try to attack somebody with a car, what do you think's going to happen, I do not miss the snow, I'll tell you that, though, guys. It is nice being here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Like I said, we'll be here till Friday. We'll be heading up to Santa Fe. We are doing a fundraiser. Why we do cover the protest. It helps us eat and get fuel for the vehicle. Right now we're staying in the van. And we do not have any food in our vehicle. It was luckily last night. Witness did donate some money, and we were able to get some Salisbury steaks and some of that deviled egg potato salad. That was amazing. So we had a great dinner. And we very much appreciate that witness for your help. But we are doing a fundraiser so we can continue to eat and continue to have fuel until we get to our location and money starts coming in. So if you'd like to donate, please use the link scrolling below or in the description of this video. Crowd is getting much bigger. But out-of-towners will start coming in and all that. And people just in town too, you know. Some people might not even know what's going on yet, so it is still fairly new. But this is overall, you know, aerial coverage of where the incident happened. Sorry about that. I have my last breakfast bar. That is the vehicles that were in the incident. Anybody who hasn't seen it, I do have on my shorts, I have exactly what happened. If you guys are just tuning in, please like, subscribe, and share. Let's let people know what's going on. Also, share out that short if you guys can, so people can see exactly what happened, because I'm sure the news is not going to show that video. Kind of a warm day over here. We have that cold front coming through tonight, which is going to drastically make things a lot cooler. Not exactly sure what that truck's doing. I mean, he's being escorted by the police, so I'm sure it's one of their vehicles. It might be just to pick up pieces of the vehicle that broke or whatnot. But tonight might be a little bit crazy. Let's hope not, but we shall see. If it is, we will definitely cover it. Oh, they're removing their staging. That's what that thing is for. That makes a lot of sense. I'm curious of where they're going to, because I know they're going to continue protesting. If they're going to stay here, or if they're going to move it to the ICE facility, or where they're going to be moving next. But we will make sure we keep an eye on that as well. I have a feeling it would probably be outside a federal building. Interesting to see if people stick around here or. The crowd is actually still growing quite a bit, too. Like I said, the next few hours, should be quite interesting to see what's going to happen. And tonight, I'm sure there's going to be something going on. It's also going to bring up other protests across the United States. This isn't going to be all just in Minneapolis. People will protest this everywhere. And things are going to get a little messy. I'm sure it's going to be happening in New York, the normal towns, Portland, and wherever any other place, like Democratic place that has, pushes these protests, which, just destroys the city. People wouldn't be trying to run them over and get shot, so the Democrats can take the blame for this lady's death because they've been putting so much hate on ICE and all that for just doing their jobs that, it makes people do stupid things like try to run over ICE agents and get shot, I am very curious to see where they go next. If they're going to protest here, they're going to, or if they're going to bring it to somewhere else. My guess is somewhere else because this is just a neighborhood. They're not going to want to destroy a neighborhood. They're going to want to destroy something that's not in the neighborhood. So, but I will give it to the Minneapolis people that are there. There was a gentleman who burned a flag. I will make a clip of that later. And they told him to leave. This is on Portland Avenue and 34th Street, I believe. In Minneapolis, Minnesota. For anybody curious at our hours, we're at 1,017 hours, actually. So we need roughly 2,900 and something more. We're getting there closely. We had over 7,000 watch hours that we lost when we got our strike. But we're going to be, I'm just going to be a little bit more careful what we use. So that does not happen again. which it shouldn't have happened in the first place because there is a Fair Use Act that is, we're allowed, and then none of these channels are copyrighted that we did that off of, but it is what it is. We'll not argue with it. We would just do the best we can to try not to, get in trouble. 500 people, watching at the same time. But we will get there again. My sugar's going high again. Anybody just tuning in, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this out. This is live coverage over Minneapolis, where the 32-year-old woman tried to run over an ICE agent and got shot. And she is dead. Looks like we're going to be tuning into the broadcast system or whatever this is. This is going to be, I'm guessing, some type of speech about what just happened. Looks like we're going to be tuning in for a press conference shortly.
We can give an audio test if you guys need an audio test. Can you hear me? Hello, 1, 2, 4. Is audio good for you? Because we can turn it up too. You good? Are you guys good? Because we can turn up audio output too. You're good? Man, the mystery hum. You have no idea how much time we spent on that one. Alright, you guys got everything you need, right? Alright.
That's a very big close-up.
If you guys need anything, we'll get you whatever. I'm going to turn off that.
We're back to the live scene view coverage of that. Looks like they're gonna be switching back and forth to see who's what. But looks like we should be tuning into the live coverage of the update of what's going on. Now, this is the most dangerous part. Once you remove the barricades, the cops, don't have as much to help, the crowd from coming in, which, as you see, they are. That was very well timed, but that's the most dangerous part of it. Oh, and they're throwing snowballs at the cops. Looks like now they are trying to attack the cars. Just with snowballs, but still, it's still, you know, you can't do that to a cop. Things might get a little crazy over here, guys. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe this. I'm not sure if any of these cops have non-lethals like pepper spray or nothing, or pepper bullets, whatever. No, now they're going after the cars again, guys. That black car in the back is definitely getting the worst of it. But this is like what I said, what I was afraid would happen when once you remove those barriers and they start going, there's nothing to stop these people. So they're going to do what they want to do, and they're going to cause all kinds of ruckus.
When you're backed up and need relief that's fast and gentle, like
Sorry
this.
about the ad, guys.
Not like this. Mirafast works naturally with your body and as little.
All right, we're back live. They had tear gas, now would be the time to use it. And these people are getting out of hand already. You know it's only going to get worse. I mean, it might be just snowballs, but that's where it starts. It gets out of hand, and then people get more rowdy. People start burning stuff. People start getting crazy. They get empowered because the cops are running away. They think they can do whatever they want. They start burning cars. They start torturing things. And that's a very large crowd behind them. Well, it looks like they picked up pace a little bit, and be curious where this crowd goes next. They are now running and trying to catch up. As the cops are slowing down, they might actually have a chance. You see more projectiles thrown towards the police. Yeah, it's definitely mob mentality. They're getting powered and they think they can do anything. This is where it starts. This is how you get the chaos. This is how you get the burning cars and the burning cities. You know? And the mayor, you know, encourages this, which is stupid. And these aren't even ICE agents, a lot of these people are back. They're just police officers. Which had to, you know, there was a person who died. They had to do their job, go to the crime scene, and this is what happens. You know, the left thinks that, you know, they're going to take it out on everybody. But they created the mess in the first place. If you guys are just tuning in, make sure you like and subscribe, please. It is a fairly large crowd. And it's still early, so. It seems the police are pretty far away from them now, so. I'm curious where they're going to march to. I'm not sure where there's a facility they would march too close to that area, but... I mean, the crowd goes back very far. But where shall they go next? We shall find out together. Oh, man. What time is it now? We are looking at... It is 1:19 now. Still very early. And what's going to happen now? That seems that they're going to cause a ruckus. Anybody who doesn't know, this is a live view over Minneapolis after a 32-year-old white woman was shot for trying to run over an ICE agent. Anybody who wants to see the footage of that, of what happened, I do have a short up of it. Not sure what that crowd's doing. But usually you don't get crowds stop gathering over something unless something bad's happening. Or they might be just planning, who knows. That car did not want to wait for that crowd. As nor should they, shouldn't have to. You're going to disrupt everybody else's life or something. You don't even know exactly what you're protesting for, probably. But I'll tell you what, the crowd got very quick pretty fast. Because this didn't happen very long ago. This is all recent today. Nobody's using the crosswalk but one person. Not exactly sure where they're marching to either. But they definitely have taken over the streets. I'm sure the Minneapolis Police Department is preparing for a long, crazy night now. We're going to get some rain here tonight. We got two cold fronts in a row that are going to run through. Make things pretty chilly over here. Still take it over man any day. There goes the Albuquerque Fire and Rescue. Not sure what they're doing. Really curious of where they're actually headed to. The police are long gone from now, but I'm guessing they're going to either the ICE facility or they're going to go to the police department and march somewhere and protest that. And that's when things will get crazy later on. If you guys are enjoying the screen, we are doing a fundraiser while we watch this. Helps us get food and fuel and all that stuff for the next couple weeks while we are living in the van, waiting to go to Santa Fe. The links are in the description, also scrolling below. Tips are appreciated but not expected. But liking, subscribing, and sharing this out is absolutely free. It grows the audience on the channel so we can do more fun things together. Oh, they're like, I want out of here before that crowd gets there. Not sure if anybody's familiar with the area, but if anybody knows where they're marching, please let us all know. This is outside the where the lady was shot. Still quite a large crowd over there as well. This would be more your peaceful people, I'm imagining.
Yep, the car's gone. That's where everyone's gathering now. They've moved closer to where this is. Okay. I was just checking the poll. Okay. Yeah, the police have pulled out, the barricades have been removed, and everyone has kind of moved down the street closer to where this all happened. You might be able to see there's some flowers, other tributes here. The crowd is now smaller than it once was. It's now between 1 and 200, where it was, hundreds before. No law enforcement presence here, whatsoever. People are now gathering around the spot of where this all happened to, pay tribute and pay respects to what happened. And a very different feeling, a very different mood here. Quiet, more of somber and remembrance, where before it was a lot more about frustration and anger towards what happened.
Thank you, William, for the $10 Cash App.
That was further down from where we were located, so I didn't, see what was happening there. It might have been part of, the general commotion of moving all of these vehicles out, moving all the barricades out. Anytime, that there was movement with law enforcement, that, got a reaction from the crowd. So I think pulling out that many cars, that many officers, and all of the barricades may have been the reason for that happening. Well, I think it's, a lot of, anger. This is something I think that, has been bubbling up in this, community for a while. People, a lot of in this neighborhood, not, wanting ICE here. And then when this word broke out this, morning, there was a few people here right away, but we saw the crowd grow throughout the day as more and more people became aware of this situation. You saw that there were city leaders, pretty much every member of the Minneapolis City Council was out here, pretty much kind of a Rolodex, if you will, of community leaders here in Minneapolis, elected officials, all coming down here to try to figure out what's going on. And I think at first people were trying to kind of a wait and see, trying to see what happened, but then as the day went on and more information got out, I think the crowd got a little more angry, more agitated. But so far, we've been seeing a peaceful protest here on the street.
Minus the burning of the flag. And them trying to attack the cop cars. But that was peaceful,
the red zone. For getting married, I want Travis to get traded to the private jets. The private jets? And now here's a 10-minute version of the last joke. Travis needs to get his ring measured correctly so he can't shake it off. Since I'm marrying a chief, you think we're going to have to live in a hut? You think we're going to live in a hut? Taylor gets pregnant, we're going to have to do prenatal tests.
Well, I don't think that was supposed to show up. All right, looks like this is going to be where they're going to do the press conference shortly. I'm very sure they messed up and put that on live when it wasn't supposed to be live. That should be interesting to come back there on what the guy was listening to. They're all about, indigenous people, but he seemed to be having a good old time listening to something, making jokes about them, which should be perfectly fine, but in their eyes, it's bad. But anyways, as we go. Press conference is going to be happening shortly, I believe. Hold on one second, guys. I am going to mute this just for a second so I can... let me make sure they're not going live now. No, they are not. Or are they? I'm going to mute this for a second. I'll be right back.
You probably know Vistaprint for business cards, because we've printed them for millions of small businesses over the past 25 years. But we also print signs, stickers, shirts, and more. If you need it, we print it. Print it all with 20% off for new customers at Vistaprint.com.
Alright, sorry about that, guys. I have to use the bathroom. I didn't want, people hear that. Oh, but I'm 100% they're hypocrites. For sure. We're just waiting on the press conference now. They were all smiles because they know they're going to use this for, political gains. Going to be very sad to see exactly what they say. I guarantee you they're not going to mention, the safety of the officers that were involved or the ICE agents that were involved with this. They're just going to use it to be, ICE killed somebody. They're not going to mention that the lady was trying to run them over. But, we don't expect anything different from them, so. But we'll still check it out, see what they have to say. Don't forget, if any of you guys haven't seen exactly what happened, I do have a short where it shows the woman trying to run over the ICE agents. So there is video proof that, she was trying to harm them. And I think that's very important to share out, so if everybody can share that out for me. Because we know what they're going to try to do. While we wait for this, hopefully everybody's having a wonderful day. The press conference should be starting at any moment. If you guys would like to support the channel, you guys can use my links in my description or scrolling below. It helps us make sure we can eat and travel and keep our van warm. We are staying currently in the van. We try to keep you guys up to date on everything that's going on as we chat about it. And it looks like some people should be coming in shortly. And that is a very close-up view of the microphone, in case you didn't know what one looked like. All right, looks like we're going to be getting going here. There's the fraudulent lover.
Good afternoon. Today I'm joined by Department of Public Safety Commissioner Bob Jacobson, Colonel Schaefer of the Minnesota National Guard, and Colonel Bogojevic of the Minnesota State Patrol. This morning we learned that an ICE officer shot and killed someone in Minneapolis. My deepest condolences to the family, to the loved ones who had to learn about this tragic event on national television. We've been warning for weeks that the Trump administration's dangerous, sensationalized operations are a threat to our public safety, that someone was going to get hurt. Just yesterday, I said exactly that. What we're seeing is the consequences of governance designed to generate fear, headlines, and conflict. It's governing by reality TV, and today that recklessness cost someone their life. I've reached out to Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, and I'm waiting to hear back. Donald Trump and his administration may not care much about Minnesota. That's been pretty evident, but we love this state. We won't let them tear us apart. We'll not turn
$9 billion
against each other.
in fraud.
To Minnesotans, I say this: I feel your anger. I'm angry. They want a show. We can't give it to them. We cannot. If you protest and express your First Amendment rights, please do so peacefully, as you always do. We can't give them what they want. The hearts and minds of the people in this state are on our side. To Americans, I ask you this: please stand with Minneapolis.
What's it called? A protest?
Know that our administration is going to stop at nothing to seek accountability and justice. The State Bureau of Criminal Apprehension are working on the investigation. We have activated the State Emergency Operations Center. State Patrol and Minnesota National Guard leadership is connected with the Minneapolis Police Department, the St. Paul Police Department, Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, the DNR, and Minnesota's Homeland Security and Emergency Management. We have activated dozens of members of the State Patrol's mobile response team. And from here on, I have a very simple message. We do not need any further help from the federal government. To Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, you've done enough. There's nothing more important than Minnesotan safety. I've issued a warning order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be deployed if necessary. I remind you, a warning order is a heads up for folks. And these National Guard troops are our National Guard troops. They're teachers in your community. They're business owners. They're construction professionals. They are Minnesotans. Minnesota will not allow our community to be used as a prop in a national political fight. We will not take the bait. We will continue to update you, Minnesota, as we get more information. Now I'd like to turn it over to Commissioner Bob Jacobson of the Minnesota Department of Public Safety.
Exactly what they're going to do is turn it against what he said.
As the Governor mentioned, my name is Bob Jacobson. It is my honor to serve as the Commissioner of the Minnesota Department of Public Safety. First of all, I want to acknowledge the reason that we are all here. The loss of life is not anything anyone would ever want. We fully expect that the community will want to peacefully demonstrate their anger or frustration. Minnesota residents and visitors have the right to peacefully demonstrate. We recognize that demonstrations are often driven by strong emotions, beliefs, and certainly a desire to be heard. Our role is to help ensure everyone can express themselves without anyone getting hurt. The Minnesota Department of Public Safety's role through the Minnesota State Patrol is to ensure safety, protect constitutional rights, keep roads accessible, and above all, to prevent harm. Our top priority is public safety. Our focus is keeping demonstrators, community members, drivers, and law enforcement safe, especially during moments of heightened tension or uncertainty. Demonstrations must remain safe and lawful, particularly around roadways. We will join with our partners to support safety while respecting the right to protest. With that in mind, I'd like to share a few safe and lawful ways to demonstrate. Minnesotans can safely and legally express their views in many ways, including getting together peacefully with others in public spaces, marching or walking, not on roadways, making your voice heard through chants, speeches, and displaying signs, being present in public areas where pedestrians are allowed, gathering in designated or permitted areas, and these actions will allow people to express themselves while protecting the safety of everyone involved. Unsafe or illegal actions could result in fines or arrests. Certain behaviors create serious hazards that threaten public safety, disrupt emergency services, or put people at risk. These actions could result in fines or arrests. Demonstrating on or entering a freeway on foot, walking on highways, throwing objects, starting or setting fires, damaging property,
we've seen two of those already.
Using illegal fireworks, displaying or using illegal weapons, reckless or dangerous driving, especially near pedestrians, and certainly assaultive, aggressive, or riotous behavior toward anyone. We all want definitive answers to what happened today. Our Bureau of Criminal Apprehension is working in conjunction with the FBI to investigate this morning's shooting. As you know, we don't comment on active investigations, but also keep in mind that this is an investigation is also in its infancy. So any speculation about what had happened would be just that. And we will not engage in speculation. With that, I will turn it back over to the governor. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
We'd be glad to take any questions. Yeah, and I can let General Schaefer talk about this. It so happens it's a training weekend. We've got about 7,500 troops in training at our sites, training sites across the state. What it isn't in the National Guard, you give a warning order, which is a heads up of something could be coming. That just allows people to think about what they would need, what it would mean to mobilize, what it would mean to put them in. And I could let the general talk a little bit about this. Obviously, since the summer of 2020, we had a lot of work done on teams being ready to make sure that civil unrest, and what that means, and I think Commissioner Jacobson was very clear, and I want Minnesotans to hear this from me. The desire to get out and protest and to speak up to this administration of how wrong this is, that is a patriotic duty at this point in time, but it needs to be done safely, and I think the Commissioner simply just laid out some of those parameters. We can do that. This is the peaceful resistance that we need. Simon, you want to say a few things about what that means to have them on the ready?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Governor. So for the military, Minnesota National Guard is comprised of 13,000 soldiers and airmen. We live all across and work throughout Minnesota. A warning order is just an initial step to increase your preparations. The Minnesota Guard is always prepared to respond and support state agencies and the citizens of Minnesota. So what that means for us today is just some additional checks on equipment that is ready at all times, and maybe some additional phone calls to service members who might be activated, but no activations. We are embedded with our state agencies here at the Operations Center to just continue parallel planning in the event that we are needed to support.
And I would make note, Mary, and to Minnesotans on this about the National Guard, they're there to protect you and protect your constitutional rights. These are our neighbors. They don't wear masks. They don't bust in from somewhere else. They're not here to cause.
This is exactly why it happened. Listen to how bad he talks
we saw today,
about
the tragedy,
federal agents.
Having them at
This is what causes the hate, and ladies like that would try to run them over and her get shot because of it. This guy's a jerk.
There's folks that want to cause chaos. There's the disruptors in him. Why the vast majority of those protests were
Hence he's
peaceful
in it,
expressions of
resigning because he hasn't, well, not resigning, but not running again because of $9 billion of fraud he already
The
caused.
National Guard is there to make sure that peaceful protests are able to be done, and that those that want to do the destruction are stopped from doing that. Yes. Yeah, and I think apparently by a federal agent, not by Minnesotans who were there to express their First Amendment rights. I think we've seen this to have folks ready. The gatherings that were down there today, I think this shocked everyone. People showed up as they should. There's people putting flowers down on a memorial. There's people expressing their anger.
There's people attacking cops, people burning flags.
When we need to move these people
already.
out. And
so don't say it's all good.
The local reporters know well on this. Both unfortunately and for us, the upside of this is that we're very good and we've had practice at this. And I just want to, again, implore Minnesotans, I am not telling you not to express your anger or your frustrations or the outrage that we have. Look, this was totally predictable, as I said it yesterday, and it was totally...
Well, they're still marching and they're showing them now. I guess nobody really needs to hear that jerk speak anyways. He should resign now. And it pretty much sounded like he was calling out America. Like, so, you know, Minnesota is still part of the United States. The federal government is top priority over them. He is such a piece of crap. And this is exactly why incidents like this happen, because they have such horrible rhetoric. And you know, instead of saying, maybe we should calm the thing down, they're going to continue it, and they're going to just, they're going to make the rhetoric worse and put more hate towards these federal agents who are just doing their jobs, just like he said about the National Guard. These are just people, ICE agents. They're just people too. They're part. Some of them live in Minneapolis. Some of them live in Minnesota. They have families. They have wives. They have all this stuff. And you have a lady who's trying to run them over, and you're going to justify that and make it, the government's fault or Trump's fault. It's so horrible that everything's, Trump. Anything that happens, Trump did it. Not rhetoric that has put in people to do horrible things. These ICE agents who are just normal people too. They're just like the National Guard. But as you see, you still have a decent-sized crowd marching. But Tim Walz needs to just step down. He's a horrible governor.
No, it was in response to this event.
I'm sorry. What was it? Well, I said this yesterday. We've never been at war with our federal government. I think in this case that storm up in the north, up in Bemidji, or it could be COVID or George Floyd response. In this case, again, it doesn't necessarily change the mission. They're there to protect Minnesotans. They're there to serve Minnesotans. I think the thing that is so challenging in the moment we're in, work with us on public safety. We hear a demonization of our state. We see people coming in who don't know our community, and we see this massive display for the TVs that we're trying to understand how is this coordinated. And some of you watch the videos on there, total chaos. And look, I have very limited work in this is the training in the National Guard, but I've had a lot of training now to watch how our professionals operate. After this person was shot, federal agents milling around, touching the vehicle at a crime scene and things. I don't know what to tell you, and I don't quite know how to respond to the question other than my primary responsibility as governor is the protection of the people of Minnesota.
That's the $9 billion you let be fraud.
State Patrol or whether it's the National Guard, their deployment is there to protect Minnesotans from whatever it is. If it's an act of nature, if it's a global pandemic, or in this case, if it is a rogue federal agent. I don't know at this time, and I want to be very careful. It's unprecedented that we have the federal government's already determined exactly what's happened here and the motives of an individual that we...
ICE agent. You're calling him a rogue person?
Look, and I understand the uniqueness of this moment in this week, following this week, seeing what's happening in the backdrop of a show hearing in D.C. My job is to govern, and my job is to see what the facts are.
You've done a horrible job.
This happened a couple of hours ago, and we're already pitting American against American.
100% witness.
All of you saw a video in your eyes. We have a chaotic situation caused by the largest deployment in American history of federal agents.
After Democrats let the largest amount of illegal aliens. What do you think is going to happen?
Situation where an individual is
We've never been underneath this because of Democrats.
And so, look, I want to be very
and how many illegal aliens have killed other people, American citizens?
Trump will make this about me. He will make this about...
You're making this about Donald Trump
this
and
is
politics.
About public safety, and this is about normalcy. To Americans who are watching this, if you're in Portland, or you're in LA, or you're in Chicago, or you're wherever they're coming next, stand with us.
See?
Stand with us against this.
More rhetoric.
This was so preventable, so unnecessary, and I don't know. I hope maybe we're at the McCarthy moment. Do you have no decency? Do you have no decency? We have someone dead in their car for no reason whatsoever, and
the video is live in my shorts if you'd like to see the reason. This guy's a dumbass and doesn't know what he's talking about.
I don't want to be right about this, but I said if they do this, they're going to create a chaotic situation where someone innocent's going to get killed. And they did it. And now we hear more political rhetoric. Enough. Enough is enough. And so to Minnesotans, don't take the bait. Do not take the bait. Do not allow them to deploy federal troops into here. Do not allow them to invoke the Insurrection Act. Do not allow them to declare martial law. Do not allow them to lie about the security and the decency of this state. And let's let this investigation play itself out. Let's make sure we protect our neighbors. I encourage you to use your First Amendment rights and all of your constitutional rights, but do so in a peaceful manner. We'll gather back with you as soon as we gather more information that needs to be put out. But again, stay safe, Minnesotans, and we'll be back with you.
That guy is a complete jerk. He's saying don't make it political as he's making it political, blaming the federal government for a lady trying to run over an ICE agent and her getting shot because of it. Perhaps don't try to run over people. That'd have been a better view. All right, guys. Seems like that's over. We're gonna end this real fast, and then I'm gonna look for some better streams, and we're gonna continue covering this. Thank you, guys, and we will be back.